Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. On this video I'm going to show you the Old School Room in Haworth, which is a highly significant building and a very important building for the Bronte landscape and story. And the Old School Room is situated just between Haworth Parish Church and the famous Bronte Parsonage. So I'm going to talk about some of the history of the Old School Room, which is just behind me, just there, and Patrick Bronte, the father of the Bronte family, played a key role in this actual building being built, and it became really important, really significant, and helped lots of children have education. So I'll talk you through the story. So I hope you enjoy this video, everybody, and I'll show you the building. Cheers. The Old School Room in Haworth was built in 1832 by Patrick Bronte, who was a perpetual curate at Haworth Church. And Patrick Bronte really wanted the local children to have a decent education, and it was one of his top priorities really. He really highly valued education, and he set up this incredible Old School Room, which started off as a Sunday school, and it became such a success that 160 pupils were being taught at this building just behind me every week. Patrick Bronte really wanted to improve the village. He really cared deeply about his local area, and he actually managed to successfully obtain a grant from the National School Society to open up the Old School Room, and it really made a huge difference, you know. It's just like today really, you know, things don't change, you know, education is key. It's so important, and the more that children learn when they're younger, the more it sets them up in life when they get older, basically, you know. So yeah, it's a brilliant thing that he did really. The Old School Room became such a success that evening classes were actually set up as well, and local children that worked in the factories and mills could actually attend evening classes, which was really good. So that really improved the education of the local area for the children really, you know. It really helped them to progress, and Patrick Bronte really did care about Haworth, about the village. He really wanted to improve it in every possible way that he could really. And he also played a key role in improving the sanitary conditions as well, because there was quite a huge problem with clean water in Haworth as well at the time. There was very few buildings in Haworth back then during the 1800s that had access to clean water, so he helped to improve that really. So I'll just show you the blue plaque on the front of the building, just above the entrance. So here's the entrance to the building, and the blue plaque's just here. So it says Patrick Bronte, who was born in 1777 and sadly passed away in 1861. The Old School Room, Haworth. Patrick Bronte built this school for the children of Haworth. Charlotte, Branwell, Emily and Anne all taught here, and it was also the site of Charlotte's wedding reception in 1854. Charlotte Bronte taught at this school, built in 1832 and restored by the church in 1966 with help from the Bronte Society. If you've never visited Haworth before, I really do highly recommend it. It's an absolutely beautiful village, and like I say, the Old School Room was such an important building in the village really. It's quite windy today now, but it's still a beautiful day. Yeah, it was such a significant building, you know, and you've got the Bronte parsonage and the church just either side of the Old School Room. I'll just show you Bronte parsonage. So there we go. So there's the famous home of where the Brontes lived. The famous Bronte sisters. It really is a truly amazing place, is Haworth. You can see the church behind me, and yeah, to think that three sisters in the same family all became famous authors, you know, it's amazing really when you think about it. They were so successful, so talented really, and way ahead of the time. I'll just carry on showing you a bit more of the Old School Room. So there we go, there's an angle from the side. I'll just pop round the other side as well. Patrick Bronte massively improved the living conditions and the education around Haworth village during the 19th century, and he actually ended up being one of the longest living people in the village. By the time that Patrick Bronte actually passed away, I think he was one of the oldest people in the village. So, you know, it just shows how much he changed things really. That reflects, you know, because a lot of people, they were only living till the 30s and 40s back then. So the fact that Patrick Bronte had such a long life shows how he gradually managed to improve the conditions around the village back then. So yeah, so it's a really interesting one. So I really do recommend sort of having a look, and sometimes you can have a look inside the Old School Room as well when they have different community events and things on. So it's really quite interesting to come and see. I love the old, you know, historic buildings around Haworth. The architecture is magnificent. The Old School Room is a really significant part of Haworth's history, and sometimes you sort of miss it in a way. You sort of glance at it, but your eyes are immediately drawn to the Bronte parsonage and the Haworth parish church. So yeah, it's well worth just stopping really and having a look at the Old School Room. Thanks so much everybody for watching this video. There's so much history to Haworth, especially the Brontes as well. You know, it really is an amazing place to come and visit, and I thought I'll show the Old School Room today and do some history. I've already done a short video about it, but I thought I'll do a full screen video about it for you and a bit longer, just to get into some of the history, because you can't underestimate, you know, the impact that the Brontes had on Haworth was absolutely huge. Not just the Bronte sisters and Branwell, but the father, Patrick Bronte, as well. The whole family just brought so much to Haworth, they really did. And I think Haworth Village changed forever after the Brontes came here. You know, they did so much. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.